Why do you think you'll lose Aura for having fun?
Because it looks goofy.
What about it looks goofy?
I'm gonna be like dangling there. There's little kids around. Actual hooligan. We're not gonna do it. Is it recording? You got it? Okay. Sounds good.
If someone wants to be your friend and connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Talk to me about One Piece or Naruto. Full stop. And if you have a good opinion, one that I deem correct, it's really that easy.
How more specifically could you generalize it?
What do you mean generalized? It doesn't get much more general than that. I like One Piece. I like Naruto. If you wanted to, really most shonen. I like video games. If you like fun, good video games, I'll talk with you about Street Fighter, COD Zombies. Actually, like most video games, I play everything.
What's your usual go-to conversation starter?
I'm not really good with conversation starters, but if I know the conversation is going to be a little bit longer, I will ask people questions about what's been the best part of their day. I think that's a good way to start to have an actual conversation instead of just being like, man, some weather today. Really? Because small talk isn't a good way to really connect with people, and in order to actually connect and to actually get to see people for who they are, you need to have these more deep conversations, because honestly we live in a day and age where it's so easy to feel disconnected from everything, and having somebody just ask, what was the best part of your day? It helps people recognize that there are other people out there and they're real and it's good to have real connection. I'm gonna take your silence as a yes.
Oh, wow. If your personality were a mix of two teachers at your school, who would they be and why?
It would be Miss Temple for her sense of humor and Mr. Geiger for his work ethic. It's like the yin and the yang, You get the smiling, happy face versus the tragedy face. Temple being the happy face and Geiger being the tragedy.
Okay. Who understands you the best for who you are, and what do they do differently from others?
I think the person who probably understands me the most is Josh. And I think it just comes down to the fact that we've gotten in the most amount of situations to where we've really needed to understand each other, to work together, and to have our friendship grow. And even though we're not really similar at all, it sort of is it's an oil and water type thing, It pairs well.
You're stuck in a time loop, forced to relive one school day over and over again. Which day would you choose, and how do you make the most of it?
I would choose the second day of state last year, my junior year, and I would choose it so that way in the semifinal round, when Josh sold, I would be able to just give him lashings repeatedly, and the day would never end because it would repeat over and over.
If you had to pick one song to describe your high school experience, but it has to be a children's song, which one would you choose, and why?
Children's song? What are children's songs? I would choose, could it be like a nursery rhyme? Yeah? I would do, my high school career. Ooh. Yeah. I would do the song that's like the plate and the spoon, jump over the moon, that one, because I feel like it captures my mental space throughout most of high school.
What does that mean?
Like, the plate and the spoon, what did they do again? I don't remember.
All right, you're given a magic wand to change one school rule. What rule would you change, and what unforeseen chaos would ensue?
I would remove the no drugs policy. I would do so that way I just would like to see what would happen. That's a lot more pack.
What's a part of yourself you're still working on accepting?
I think a part of myself that I'm working on accepting is just that I'm allowed to have bad days and not feel good. I think my impulse a lot of the time is to assume the worst and sort of like put my head in a really bad mindset. But I need to learn that I just need to cope with that and understand that that's just a part of how I think, and that doesn't have to define me.
If you could have a conversation with a younger version of yourself, what's one thing that you'd apologize for?
I'd apologize for. I think I would apologize for always putting myself in a situation where I take on too much and having it stress me out so much. A lot of the time I take on way too much and it's stressful, and I feel a lot of responsibility, not just in school but for my family and all of the people around me, and it's a lot. It's satisfying, but I would say I'm sorry, because you don't need to work that hard to be happy. Yeah. I hate you. I really do.
If you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? And why?
I would try. I'm really happy with a lot of the way that my life has been turning out lately. But one thing that I would definitely change is sort of my approach to my own mental health. I think that a lot of the time I can have a really unhealthy relationship with my own sort of mental space. And if I could change anything, it would be to just, not to get rid of it, like the bad days or whatever, but to make it so that I'm better at coping with it. Like having a better understanding of myself and why I feel the way I do, you know? It looks like understanding what makes me upset and not beating myself up over it, not dwelling on it, being able to feel a certain type of way, but also be able to recognize that it doesn't have to define me and I'm able to move on.
Why do you think teenagers are afraid, and just as what you were experiencing earlier with the aura decrease? Why is that?
People don't want to look silly, and there's a expectation in society to have a certain level of coolness, and I know it's a very overused phrase, but you kind of want to come off as a little nonchalant, you know? And I think that showing vulnerability makes it easy for people to be hurt, and so people don't show a vulnerable side of themselves, one that can genuinely have fun. because then it's harder to get hurt.
What do you think would surprise middle school you most about your life now?
I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy.